Hey everybody, it's Chugga Conroy, and I welcome you to what was going to be the last episode of Super Mario Galaxy 2. So, the plan was we would be tackling the true final objective and be going over everything that we hadn't seen yet, but you all suggested so many topics that I hadn't gone over yet that you have artificially lengthened the series. Now, being clear, we will be going into Grandmaster Galaxy and getting a new Power Star before this time is over. However, we will not be finishing every objective in the game until next time. Starting off all these miscellaneous topics, I learned just a day ago, I think, that you can zoom out and zoom back in on the world map without having to point at the screen. D-pad up and D-pad down instantly will go out and back into the world, to the grand world map. Beyond that, we've come an awfully long way. Down there, somewhere on that little blue marble, that's home. Everything that has ever happened in all of Mario's adventures, somewhere down there. All of the Mushroom Kingdom, all of it. And the Mushroom Kingdom is a terribly depressing place because all of those toads that are greeting you and welcoming you to the party all the way back on that first day, if you look closely, they're actually all frowning at you. Second, for those of you who think Super Mario Galaxy 2 does not have high stakes and does not tell an interesting story, I'll have you know, Bowser kills a toad in this intro. Third, if Mario idles for long enough that he would normally fall asleep, instead, he just gets real tired of this Toad's BS. Continuing on with our first day, I remember beating Sassafras's ass like it was yesterday. We moved on to much bigger bums. Hello, friend. Please go around back. Yoshi. When playing the Prankster Comet version and reading the same sign... Hello, friend. Please go around back. Yoshi, the space dragon. I suppose he got a bigger ego over time, and that's the lore that I'm sticking with. I didn't have a good chance to really point this out all the way back at the beginning because Starship Mario took a while to get all of its amenities. When Luma and the other Lumas are building Starship Mario, there are two wallpaper rolls in their toolbox. One of these is the wallpaper that goes into the engine room, and the other is the decor of the casino. Subtle detail, but now we know better. Moving on through Starship Mario, there's a dice block trick. Spinning into it again while it's still moving will force it to stop on whatever face is currently up. This can be useful if it looks like it's going to topple over into another face. It turns out there is a way to maintain lives after saving and quitting, but it's really stupid. When switching to another save file without turning the system off, Toad will have a letter from the other save file and give you the number of lives that player currently had. Meaning, if you got a sibling and you're sharing a system, you can pass lives back and forth. They bothered to program this incredibly complicated system, but not just, I don't know, keeping your lives after you turn it off. Luba's lucky message is not just for 77 stars, but for any combination of all 7s and star bits. And speaking of Luba, for being topless, their gender is a lot more inconsistent than you might think. The German translation refers to Luba as female in some areas, but male in others. I think this is the only language it happens in, but yeah, Luba's gender is kind of disputed. I've already talked about how the Dry Bones power-up from Super Mario Maker seemed to have been planned this far back due to some unused Mario animations. According to Kotaku, this was a rejected pitch shot down by Miyamoto himself. I've had a lot of people ask me about this unused grassy meadow-looking galaxy. This seems by all accounts to just be Yoshi Star earlier in development. It's been brought to my attention that Rainbow Luigi was never officially dubbed by me, so I dubbed the Spectruigi. And if I haven't dubbed Fire Luigi, then his name would be Luignite. Are you ready for the greatest Smeech detail of all? Better than any innuendo? Better than any other glitch? Well, here we go. Won't stop making out for nothing, not even saving the cosmos. I didn't have particularly strong opinions of Yoshi Star on first playthrough, but this has proven to be one of the most interesting and densest with details of any level. I've never run out of good things to say about it, and you've never run out of cool things to tell me about it that I didn't know before. Yoshi's Infinite Flutter glitch. Some wanted to see this performed, and even though you can find plenty of tutorials on it, the idea of it is to start fluttering, interrupt it by tapping Z, and then immediately hold A. Chain them together. I'm not very good at it, so that's why I didn't rely on it, but doing this, some fun things can be done, like getting Yoshi into boss fights he's not supposed to be in, and thus Mario and Yoshi will T-pose in the cutscenes because there's no animations for it. Speaking of the final boss fight, there's a unique animation where Princess Peach will giggle at co-star Luma if it moves up close. Spinning with Princess Peach will show you this, and jumping on her reveals her parasol from Super Mario Sunshine. Collecting the final Grand Star with co-star Luma reveals a unique pose not seen any other time because young Master Luma sits in its normal place. And in case you're wondering, Yoshi will not appear in this final moment giving a 5-person pose. Yoshi has no animation data and thus just will disappear. There's a lot of cool skips possible in Super Mario Galaxy 2. And I like that because these levels are actually giant interconnected locations rather than the other planets just being background objects until you hop into the right launch star. There were a lot of skips suggested for this video, but it would take so much time to show them all, so here's 2 of my favorite ones that I never did show. There's this one in Fluffy Bluff, where it's possible to go from the start of the level all the way to the end with some clever cloud platforming. And in Bowser Jr.'s Fiery Flotilla, one can skip from the castle on the first planet all the way to the boss. No lava planet necessary. Bowser Senpai, notice Luigi! I came here for one thing and ended up getting another. Whenever a Grand Star spawns in after a Bowser boss fight, what happens if you jump to your death? That's one of Rosalina's protective powers over the cosmos, and is the only time that it ever appears in this journey. Next off in World 3, Nintendo's Twitter account showed off an almost complete version of this world once, where the layout is different. Neat, I suppose. Many of you devised tests to see if the pointer had actually gotten a larger hitbox or if it only appears larger, like I asked. And even though I guess there's not really any one test I'm citing in particular, the general consensus seems to be that the hitbox was not made larger, only the graphic. I talked about a launch star glitch here in Boo Moon Galaxy that causes one to fly on past the moon and then die. I've been trying to replicate this one for a while. The key is to wait until the block snake is down to just one row and then slide off the edge of it and then go into the launch star in order to miss the moon. I can't seem to get this right, but I'd like to show you a clip by YouTube user Kyoshi, who discovered this one and was the place where I had originally seen this. So, thank you. Back at Bowser Jr.'s Boom Bunker, I was informed that the trick of pressing Z to zoom in the camera when inside of a cannon, you hold Z and you have to then push the Wii Remote toward the screen. You know, that thing that you can't do too much of, otherwise it loses connection with the Wii Remote? I don't know why you would do this and tie it to motion controls as well when you already have to hold Z to go into this mode. It makes hitting your mark with the cannons easier, I guess, but I still find it pretty awkward. I was able to do everything that you have to do with the cannon just fine without knowing the ins and outs of it, but that is what I was missing, and I thank those of you that pointed it out. For the next point, remember the Mario Encyclopedia, the book that I called super awesome because it was the only source for a lot of information about that? I want to tell you that I no longer recommend this book, and I highly recommend that you don't buy it. It was brought to my attention after I only had a surface level understanding of what was in this book that rather than painstakingly translate every article and get in touch with the creators to hopefully come up with English names for characters that didn't have any, they just couldn't be bothered. For a lot of the entries in this book, they just plagiarized American fan sites instead of translating the original Japanese text. I can't believe an officially licensed product would do this. But I found multiple articles about it after you brought it to my attention, and I no longer suggest that you pick this book up. If you do, get it secondhand so you don't give them any money. The end product has some pages garbled messes of transliterations from fan sites, fan-given names, and official names. I want to take this moment to retract the praise that I gave to this book, and instead laud the hard-working editors of Nintendo fan sites like Super Mario Wiki and Mario Fandom, who put in all the hard work to compile and document this information. Not every page and not every author's contributions to this book were plagiarism. Just the fact that some pages are, I wouldn't feel right giving my money to this or my praise to it. I might give Prima Guides a lot of crap, but at least they weren't plagiarists. Thanks for the burn idea, Rigwar1. On to a more positive miscellaneous topic. This one's just silly. The South Korean release of Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, the series is called Super Mario Wii. I don't know why, but these logos just kind of make me smile because they look so silly. You look sort of familiar, Stash Man. How are you doing? A really pretty star landed here recently, but the big bully at the top of this hill took it. He mistook Luigi for Mario. It seems I was wrong, and Bouldergeist is still able to punch. Multiple people told me that it can't, and I didn't remember seeing it punch, but that's probably just because I killed it too fast before it was able to actually do it. I highly recommend checking out the list of Iwata Asks interviews and seeing if there's any games you're a fan of that have gotten one, as they're fantastic insights into the production of games. Super Mario Galaxy 2 has one of these, and there's some interesting nuggets in there, like the fact that Clockwork Ruins Galaxy, which I guessed might be poorly programmed, was made by one developer in the span of a week. That explains a lot. I recommend reading it for yourself if this sounds even a little interesting, so I'll only go over a few other nuggets of information, such as the fact that Yoshi's voice clips are unique. This was the first time Kazumi Totaka had recorded any clips as Yoshi in over 10 years. I gotta thank you guys for keeping tabs on me, because this was something I said I was excited for and never did. This is what I meant by tricky jumps that can be done in Flip Out Galaxy to skip large chunks of the level. You can even see that these blocks toward the top become lower poly. I think they meant for you to climb around up here, otherwise they wouldn't have collision. And they clearly knew that you could do it if they put collision here. Yeah, you see how they become more roundy as you go down here? By doing this, it is possible to skip a lot of the platforming and just, well, replace it with new platforming. Much height, okay. And then, can I get on top of this structure? Maybe. Almost. Oh, yes, you can. You can get all the way up here. No moving the camera, because why would I be able to do that? Cool view of the space, though. And the level can be finished without really having to wall jump. Co-Star Luma is even more powerful than I gave them credit for. They can collect purple coins for you, making these missions where it's auto-scrolling and you gotta collect a certain number of them even easier. Heck, they can even reach places that Luigi can't reach on his own. Can only go so far, though. I had some informing me of the Luma jump, a move that can be done if both of you jump in unison. This seems to only be the case in the original Co-Star mode, not this one. Now the time has finally come for the Grandmaster of all galaxies. Funny, looks more like a trophy than a galaxy if you ask me, but maybe that star in the middle is just the sun and the planets are moving around it so fast they appear to be making a solid ring. I mean, hey, happened to Saturn. The ultimate test! Huh, seems simple enough. I wonder if there'll be a catch. Yes. Bank Toad, right away? Yoshi! Yes. You are completely necessary, Toad. I love you. So we just gotta, oh, mother of... This is not going to be good. You get one star bit on respawn every time, but the star bits don't save after a death, so it's not like you actually see any benefit and slowly work up toward a 1-up or anything. We have to, daisy chain our jumps together. Don't know if I've used that one already, but these things are daisies, and You know me and Daisy. I just gotta say things about them. Yeah, okay. We can flutter jump. Just don't hit these. Okay. Do that, and it is actually possible to die a horrible... Why did he not jump? Let him fall. Flutter again. And then just go up, and it is possible to keep Yoshi. Yes, that's what I was trying to show. I would recommend this. Because now we got these, and what do you know? There are more Sentry Beamers in the world. There is not just that one. I guess I just blocked this out of my memory. We're probably gonna be here a while. This one is quite notorious, widely considered one of the hardest levels in Mario history. I've heard stories of people being stuck on this one for days and days of attempts, and I remember that it took me several hours on my first one as well. I've already died twice, and I wasn't expecting to have any problem with that first area, but I guess the muscle memory just hadn't stuck with me entirely. We'll take our dinosaur as far as we can go. No glitches allowed, though. I ain't just saying that because I can't pull it off. Unfortunately, this is as far as he goes. We got a cloud flower. We'll take this. I really wish they called this a cloud-a-flower. Would have been a great way to slip in one more pun on top of all the ones that are already in there. Backflip, spin, backflip, spin. We have done that so many times all throughout our journey, and it never fails us. Except for... no, not right now. I'd like for it to never fail me through the end. I say this, and I probably had at least like 5 deaths associated to it that I'm sure stat trackers will not hesitate to tell me about. I'm really curious what my total death count is going to end up being, because I feel like I didn't really die a lot, and when I did, it was usually because I wanted to show off some glitch or really obscure trick that you can do. And I'm not really sure if I would totally count those toward the legitimate challenge of the game. But here we've made it through with 2 extra clouds, giving us a lifeline in a spinny segment. Oh, Toad. Star Beach. Exploration. We'll keep going as we have this lovely Sky Station score backing up our travels. And use the flutter jumps to our advantage. It's really hard to not spin jump and expend these. If I have to, then I will. It's just kind of nice saving them for emergencies, for whenever you really need them, though. But the fact that you can't rotate these platforms without spinning and thus using up a cloud, I'm not going to sweat it too much, because you're not really intended to have the cloud suit for all of this. It doesn't really come in that much handy coming forward. Thank God for iframes. Okay, this place next. I get to see Luigi at work! Wow! And I'm not even unclogging any toilets! You're not seeing me on my rough days! I could see them disliking unclogging the toilets more than actually saving the world. Does anyone ever actually think of Mario as a plumber whenever they're actually playing the games? Because I never do. I often forget that he's a plumber at all. I know that his job has changed a lot, and I think Nintendo even stated recently that he's officially retired as a plumber. He's had the job of carpenter in the past. That was his original job during Donkey Kong, but I don't really think about it. Okay, gonna just wait this out a little bit more. There we go. There are some tricks to doing these segments that I'll be going over. Okay, whoa! Well, there's a trick for you. Treat this not like a 2D segment all the time. It is not truly a 2D segment. It is possible to just pivot yourself around by spin attacking and then grabbing yourself later to go around obstacles. And now we arrive at an offshoot of Bowser's Galaxy generator. Hammer Bros, Hammer Bros, Hammer Bros, Hammer Bros everywhere, but not a drop to drink. It is not at all necessary to fight these Hammer Bros. We can just simply go on past them, only whacking them whenever we need to, and let it be known that I suck! Thank God for a checkpoint. The next attempt didn't go any better. Trying it again. Those do not give any coins. They've changed that. What did you do to me? Homing ground pound is good. Remember that it's a thing. It's probably the most underrated move in the moveset, because it's not something that I think to do terribly often, but it has proven very helpful whenever I have used it. And I didn't even realize you could collect stars with it until very recently, thanks to you guys. These things, remember that spinning as they throw you off will always land you back on top of it. Use that to your advantage, and it should be pretty simple. And wouldn't you know it, there be a comet medal. And, whoa, you got some sick range on you, bud. Grab that, spin back on. Be very careful. I am so nervous to even speak right now. Oh, God. Ah! I got pushed by a hammer? Let it be known, having a hammer thrown at you can push you. I'm sure it does by a fraction of a proton, like pretty much any kind of impact would. I thought I was safe taking damage there. I thought, you know what, I'll just take the hit and be fine. Gonna recollect that comet medal, because as I've learned, they don't stay collected after you die. Yowza. I'm seeing the benefit of taking out the hammer pros. It gives them less ways to screw you over later, because that range on them is just enough that it makes a lot of the platforming awkward. It's almost like this was designed by someone to be a challenge. Might just be my own innocuous ramblings. Whoa! Sorry, bud. I feel sorry for you, even though you are a hammer bro, meaning that you are actually the scourge of the earth. So you're gonna go. Whoop. All right, you can smack me in the head. See if I care. You're dead now. No star bits for it even. Grab that. Spin back over. All right. Remember what we've done with Boomerang Bros. Crouch and breakdance. Breakdancing is your greatest strength. By doing that, they actually can't hurt you. No second hit necessary if they go off the cliff either. Just be careful when you pop back up to land that second hit. Luigi slips along the floor, so that thankfully actually makes it better for him. And then that gives us a star. But, you noticed something about that, right? There's a funny thing about comet medals. They generally cause comets to appear on galaxies. Next time on Super Mario Galaxy 2, the perfect run. See you guys then.